All right, guys, welcome back. I'm excited to share this Beta 4-stroke build, as it is my personal bike. Originally, I was going to build a 2024, which I'd even ridden for a night, but it ended up selling the very next day. Hey, that's just part of retail and how the story goes. So this build is a 2023 Beta 350RR, and I am so pumped to be back on a 4-stroke for a while. I've had a lot of 2-strokes lately. So these are just a few of the little things that I always consider when I'm building my personal bikes. Thought I would film some of it. I hope you enjoy the style of video because it's mainly going to be all pictures. It was super late when I was working on it and I didn't feel the need to talk. So a bunch of pictures, and I'm adding the commentary later. As you guys can see, my seat does not match and I am totally okay with it because it's got that phantom foam in it and it's very comfortable. So comfort over style. In this next clip, I'm going to show you guys, we'll jump right into it. This is that right-hand side bolt for the steering lock. And so we always take the nut out of the back side. This is like the stock. You can kind of see how far it normally goes. So we take that out of the back side. On the left-hand side, you can't do that though, because you get your voltage regulator. You pretty much have to leave the left-hand side where it is. Obviously in the 2024s, it is better. Here we are showing you my left-hand control. I eliminate this whole thing. There's no need for it on my bikes. And this picture here is going to show you, ta-da, it's all cleaned up. I think it looks much better. I don't have a headlight, don't need the horn. And these are the two switches, or the two wires that go to that left-hand control. So you're gonna unplug both of those and electrical tape them up. Here I'm showing you guys, this is the brake sensor on the front brake. I always take these off the bikes and I save them. I don't use it. Again, we remove all the rear fender and stuff. So this is the banjo bolt going in. That's a Polaris part number that I use, but Beta, now that they have the 450RX, you can order it right off the RX screen. It'll go right into it. This is the horn. Again, we eliminate the horn. I take the bolt right off the bottom. You can see I even take the nut cert off the back side. So I don't cut those wires. I'll just electrical tape those up. That way, whoever buys the bike next, if you do want to make it street legal, you still have the horn wires. No need to cut them off. So this is our Beta 3Cs bracket. So this is gonna let me run the number plate, and you can pause this here and kind of look at how I run all the wires and tidy them up. I'm pretty happy with how that always turns out. This is just kind of showing what my number plate looks like on there after I clean it all up. And this is kind of showing how our bracket allows you to continue to run the display. So this is going to show you guys, you can kind of see like the sheathing is coming down on that bolt a little bit, and I'm not happy about it. So I actually had one bike that didn't run right, and it's because the rubber there was down in behind. It's more on the back side. So I take these knives and I cut it back just a little bit. You can see it back on the bike here. So I just think it's a much cleaner, it's got dielectric grease on it now, but that just kind of cleans it up, and I know there's not a problem there. So this is the rear fender, and I always eliminate all the wires in the back, just a couple different angles here. So I eliminate further up than most people do because I don't need the turn signal wires in there either. So it's a 6-pin connector. I eliminate it way up here. You can kind of see how I electrical taped up the bike side of it. Again, one last picture, all the wires are completely gone. I'm super happy. So no rear fender, or well, rear fender, but no taillight there. So super easy, super clean look. I'm happy with it. As always, these are our air filters. And hey, I don't care that it has the backfire screen in it. I'm gonna leave it. I'm super happy with it. This is just what our filters look like. We always put a lot of grease on them. We've never had an issue, but it's good to do. And you'll see here, I'm pointing out these pins. So on the air box, those pins that push in, I think it's a great idea on the cover anyway, to put some grease on those. That way it's easier to get those out without hurting it. So that's all I'm trying to show there is the pins. This is the tube. So this is the drain tube. So if you spill gas, it collects up on the top in this little channel. I always eliminate this tube because I have the gas tank off so much. This tube is just annoying to me. So I unplug it from the top on the gas tank up there and just pull it right out the side, and I don't run it at all. This is just me kind of showing some of the bolts. I always put grease on them because that's a brass insert. I want to keep it really clean and easy to get to. What we have here is just the rear fender. So obviously we eliminated that whole rear fender piece. So those bolts had a step to them, and we no longer need the step. I just put regular smaller bolts in there. I want to put bolts back in there, and that way there's no issue, no dirt getting in there. I just think it keeps things cleaner, and if I want the fender, I can put it right back on. So the next thing we jump into here is the rear sprocket. You can see how this chain guide's pushing up on the sprocket in the back there. And so if you take this 8mm and you unthread it, you can kind of see, you can push that spacer out the back, and then I flip the spacer. Oh, there's a better picture of it. So we can now flip that spacer over, we can put the bolt back in, and the bottom of that chain isn't riding on there. So especially if you have a bigger sprocket, you want more room for that chain in the back there. So you can pull that down, make it way easier. This next section is just going to be the cooling fan. A lot of people, I see a lot of comments online, people don't know how to install the cooling fan because they're always looking for the sensor. Well, the sensor is already built into the 4-stroke. So you can see right here, I'm pointing to it, the cylinder head, that is your coolant sensor. So no need for like the brass, you put it into like the 2-stroke radiator and that tells the fan to come on and off. No need for that. So next picture here is just kind of showing how you plug the fan in, just the 2 connectors, super straightforward. And we've kind of switched to Engine Ice. Engine Ice or like the Motul Expert, they're both really good coolants. I just feel like if you're putting engine or, coolant back in your bike, you probably should get something that you can get locally. So most dealerships carry Engine Ice, and I think they do a really good job stocking it, and it works really good. So Engine Ice it is. Here you'll see when I'm putting the cap back on how long that tube is. And my issue with this tube is that it's gonna, if it does have an issue and it is overheating, it pushes all of that coolant all the way down below the muffler, and I don't know if it's overheating. So hey, here's a video. So what I did is, you can see that zip tie. I zip tied it on the radiator brace there, and I cut it really short. You can see it's above the muffler there. And the whole point on that is if I cut it short and it does overheat, it'll blow the coolant onto the muffler and I'll smell it. So I'll know there's a problem. These are just my coolant hoses that I would show it. I always like to eliminate the thermostat. I don't want any more issues. So super easy with a CMCO hose kit. That's what we do on those. This is just a picture of the left-hand side of the bike. Really nothing to show you other than maybe the slave cylinder guard. I think they're a great guard. It eliminates the mud from building up behind your sprocket there. So cool picture there. And then this is the Beta gas cap. And I see so many pictures online of people confused on these gas caps. They look down in their gas tank and there's just all these, pieces floating around down in there. So this is actually a picture I stole off my JPEG. I actually did a full video on just this topic. So if you want to know more about that gas cap and how to eliminate that on your bike, feel free to hop over on the channel and check out that video. So thank you guys for watching. I'm just going to wrap it up here. Just a little bit of ride footage at the end. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the ride, and we'll see you on the trail.